How are you doing today?
Is this any better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
It's
I've just
stereo
logged in
going
for
on
the
in the
morning.
background.
So I'm being
I
greeted by
noticed
picnic.
we got a lot of tanks. So what I want to do is in fade. I'm just gonna mess around with these tunes, and get them fixed up. But when fade comes up, I want to take and make a stick. And,
Still pretty
you know,
difficult. It's definitely choppy. I can hear some of the words, but I can't hear all of it. And so I heard you talking about making a stick.
this stick.
That makes so much more sense than a stick. I was like, are you doing like a staff for somebody? What?
No, I want to make a mystic, but I want to do it when the fade word comes out.
Sure,
Reason
yeah.
being, I know it's December.
Right.
I've done all these quests times. I've fade word.
Yeah, again, I can't hear all of it, but I heard you saying that you've done all of these quests a bunch of times. Yeah, that's definitely the case. I was actually just telling people the other day that that basically Fader's going to bring out a ton more quests when it opens up and kind of give people an opportunity to have another way to, or just more stuff to add to their journal so that they can have variety and also just more stuff available to level up better with.
I'm a the 12 accuracy right. Okay. I love doing I'm this
Man, this is unfortunate. The amount of breaking up that's happening is insane. I have no idea why it's so choppy, but it's very hard to understand what you're saying.
texture.
Yeah, that'll work for sure. What's funny is when you said you'd text me, that came through very clearly. I don't know if it's his internet, my internet, one of our computers, or what is going on, but that is. His voice was very, very choppy. I was hearing very little of what he was saying. Try to see where he's at right now. Looks like he's over in the forest rooms with his troubadour, level 6. So perhaps I'll go and help him out over there. Let's see here. Is my voice coming through okay on here? So when you're typing in the name of a recipe that you want,
I sent you a tell. Did you get it?
I don't actually see the tell. Let me check all of my
It
windows.
doesn't look like it. Oh yeah.
No, it didn't go through on my end. Wait, there it is. Hold on. Okay, so he says, I like doing this with you guys, but I'm on a permanent 6 to 12. Oh man. Life, 6 to 12-month life expectancy in the live server gives me a chance to see and do things I've not done before, and I want to experience as much new stuff as I can while I can. Yeah, I see it there. That makes a lot of sense for sure. I knew you had been in that condition, I think, for a few years now, right? That's awesome. Good job living. Oh man. That sounds not great, right? Yeah, that would be good if you could get back on the meds that have been extending things, you know? What is the expansion that comes out on Lav soon? I haven't really paid a lot of attention to what's going on over there, so I don't even know the latest and greatest, you know? I You forgot the name, yeah. Well, I'll have to keep an eye out for it and see what it's all about. I don't really have any intentions of checking it out or anything, but I can at least look and see what it's reported to be anyway. Okay, he says there are PQ raids going on now that are dropping great gear to get ready for it. The PQ raid is a public quest, and a public quest means basically that anyone can go into it, and everyone gets a share of spoils at the end. The more you contribute, um, the better the rewards might be, as I recall. Now, of course, that's PQs as they used to be. Haven't done one in a long time, so I thought that the PQs were a good idea. Yeah, it's kind of good for, I guess, keeping the community alive somewhat. It's not quite the same as, hanging out and chatting, but it is a way that people can interact with each other and do something together without necessarily already having met each other, and without it being, and it is kind of a pickup group situation, but it's not as relevant. Like someone can come in and handcrafted gear, and that's okay. They obviously aren't going to live very long, but still, it doesn't matter so much in those. Picnic said he likes running those, but he definitely wants to play over here with us as well. Oh, he says that they are not scheduled, so people have been hanging out and getting together. Brings the community together. Are they able to get enough people in them, or are they able to get at least a significant number without scheduling them, or do they announce them at least whenever they're going to go live in like 5 minutes or something like that? Because I would think that people would kind of forget about them otherwise. Or just be involved, in grouping somewhere else and not have time to get to them. Also, have you happened to have heard from Botek over there? I know that Ziosha had texted him I want to say a few months ago at least, and didn't hear back from him, so wanted to make sure he's okay.
I haven't seen him now.
Oh man. Picnic says the two nuts of deads have warnings of 10 minutes. The X-Pack PQs are random, so people hang at all locations and notify when they pop. That's crazy about the PQs. So you said they were Nuts of the Dead PQs. Is that like the Pumpkin King, or who do they have as the boss there on those? By the way, you came through really clearly when you said that you hadn't seen Botech on. Oh, let's see. He says,
Maybe I was too close to the mic.
maybe so, because I heard you just fine then too. He
Okay,
said,
maybe that's what it is. My mic adjustment. I'll have to work on that.
yeah, that sounds pretty good.
So, yeah, the Knights of the Dead. That's the Pumpkin King in Antonica and the Headless Horseman in Nectalos Forest.
Okay, yeah, all right, that's cool. And they still have all the traditional Nuts of the Dead stuff on there that they've always done, the maze and the the house in North Kinos and all that.
Yep, all that stuff.
Hey, Luke Ramos, how you doing?
It's pretty good. I like that. I like the Knights of the Dead.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed the holiday events. I wish that they could have those over here.
So what people been doing is we taking hit the Knights of the Dead in Nectalos Forest, right? And you have the entrance right there to uh, Darklight Wood.
Right.
So we pop back into Darklight Wood and it sets off a Nectalos Forest #2 right after the one ends.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you're just hopping between the instances and hitting both of them, huh?
Yeah.
Ah, master book for the tank pet. That is very beneficial. So now you can solo anything, huh?
One of them you have to do crafting.
Really, there's crafting in the PQ?
Yeah.
I feel like there was once another PQ with crafting, over in, man, I cannot think of the name of it. It had the docks there, and it was, let's see, there were scorpion guys in that zone, um, docks at the southwest corner, an entrance. It was like a level 80 zone. Um, the let's see, I think the boss was this large, very large guy, like a clay golem or something, who walked down the path. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Luke Ramos, be sure to
Is
check
that the Far Seas ones?
on the black market broker for some of your spells too. Yeah, I think that's right. Picnic.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, we were doing those. The crafting ones we had to do. We got good stuff out of there. I got that armor.
Now, are you getting? Okay, first of all, here's a question for you. In the most recent expansions, are there any good like crafting quests?
Yeah, the crafting quests are
Oh
they're
yeah.
signature quests now.
As far as the black market
You
goes.
you have to do like to it like in some of the zones you can't fly until you do like a whole the signature quest for the zone. It'll be like a series of like 6 or 7 crafting quests in a row.
Well met.
Right.
And they're pretty good. They're pretty good ones. You know, they're like quests.
That's good. I'm glad that they're including the crafters in there developing more than they were at one point. Yeah, as far as the black market
Yeah,
guy goes in Freeport,
good.
I think you
Like
can
that
go
you
to
can
East
take
Freeport,
uh,
go to the
like
docks and
your
swim out
mounts and
into the
stuff
water
like
there.
that. have chances to get rares when I harvest and stick to my saddle. And
Oh, okay. So they're still doing the random rewards and you never actually get the recipe drops that you need. Like that was my experience. I remember I was doing the weekly quests there for over a year every week and never could get some of those dang things. I was doing it with all of my characters. It was insane. Can't get it. You're breaking up again. I think you might need to back up a little from the mic. Yeah, so the black market is the place where you can buy stuff from the other faction. So since you're a necromancer, there won't be any necromancers on the Canosian side, obviously, which means that the market will get flooded with free Portian spells such as necromancer spells. So you can often find your particularly spells that are for a class that's based entirely on your alignment. Those will often be a lot cheaper on the black market. So anyone who is playing a
I
swashbuckler,
like the
don't compete with
familiars
me.
that
I'm
they
enjoying
added
it.
in the warriors too. That's pretty neat.
I missed some of what you said there.
I said, I like the familiars you have.
I mean, the familiar idea was interesting. I just kind of felt like there was so much stuff going on in the game that it was difficult to keep up with everything. I remember trying to do all of the dailies and especially being an adventurer and a crafter, trying to hit all of the dailies, all of the weeklies, do that familiar quest. It was just so much. It was like work.
Yes, I did randomly when I feel like doing what I'm doing. Grinding
Turn.
them.
Yeah, it's sort of like busy work, right? So you're not doing quests. I mean, you are technically doing quests, but it's like repeatables aren't really the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's not I don't know, it was technically quests, but not entertaining. At this it's and just sort of very repetitive. Every day is the same. Yes, the daily quests did change, but it changed regarding which
Like
zone
going
you
to
were supposed to do.
the adorning trainer or something like that.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Like going and doing
Yeah.
the adorning and yeah, it's just, oh man, so much.
If I'm passing by, am I doing? You know what I mean? It's like,
Right. Exactly. But the problem is that other than those dailies and weeklies, there's nothing else to do. Yeah, you can always go and gather shinies in zones that are lower level. You really can't even at that level it's like all the good shinies are in zones that you can't really go in by yourself. Yes, you can go and do the solo zones, but it's just
I like that you can track shinies.
yeah, I did like the ability to track shinies, but at the same time it's like I don't know if everybody can track shinies. It's not really. I don't know. Not that you did have to do a quest line in order to get that, but still.
I mean, I was on early this morning. I wake up early, it's like too cold to go outside. It's like, come over here, do this for a while.
Yeah, it is. It's getting a little bit cool here, and I know that it's definitely going to be cooler where you're at. So,
Yeah, I had hard frost on my car last week.
oh my gosh, this is too early in the year for that business.
But it was like 80 degrees the other day.
Oh man,
It went from 35 degrees up to 80.
yeah, that's no bueno. Here it's not even remotely that cold, but it's still cold enough to make me go, man, I'm gonna have to start wearing my jacket, you know, or at least a light, like a light jacket. Of course, here the temperature fluctuates so much. It can be like 90 degrees in the morning and, 30 degrees or backward 30 in the morning and 90 by night. Some days, you never know.
Yeah, the mountains. I mean, I look at the mountain on all sides.
You're breaking up a lot again. Dragon?
In the mountains.
Nope. I heard something about the mountains, but it was very choppy. You live in the mountains? Where I'm at, we're kind of in like a bowl, right? So we're surrounded not by mountains, but by hills, and it's like, oh yeah, I see you. See you right there. Mountains on all sides. Okay, so what we have around us is not, like I said, it wouldn't be qualified as mountains by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the ground slowly goes up all around us into. To say hills isn't even really accurate because it doesn't like go down anytime soon. It just we're just kind of in a divot in the earth, you know. It's not a steep enough incline to be considered a crater, but yeah, we're just a dip in the earth. Which makes for some very interesting fog situations sometimes. Speaking of something related, apparently they've come out with some new kind of video camera, and it's I think I was being told it catches like, and my terminology is probably way off, but I believe they said like 2 billion frames per second, which is crazy because what it means is that it could catch rain and things like that falling much more than anything that we were using. So I've tried to film rain before, show like, oh, look at this deluge out here, and it just doesn't, you can't see it falling at all, even if it's really heavy.
Did you catch the last text?
Oh, I just now saw it. All right. Well, hopefully I'll see you later today.
Yep.
All right. Well,
They
have a
have
good time.
the mushroom ring available tonight for the stuff
Oh, cool.
creating for the.
Have they added anything? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you continue there. Have they added any new rewards for that?
Not really, no.
Ah, I see.
But
Oh, that's too
I
bad.
see squares and stuff.
Right,
It's like the
exactly.
only time I.
Yeah, that's kind of the big deal, really, more than anything, I think, is trying to get enough of those mossy tiles. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll be busy on that.
I bet. Got to get it with
Especially
all your
today,
guys.
it only runs for a week, so it starts saying I want to get that all done.
Right.
When he goes to see me, you know, decorating for the holidays.
Oh, I know. That's kind of your thing.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful day.
All right, you too. Well, Lucramos, have you found that black market broker? He's called a fence, I believe, his tag. And in fact, you can probably go to a guard and just type in fence. I'll bet you it'll give you a waypoint right over to him. But I do believe that in East Freeport, you jump off those docks and you swim out, and I feel like there's a little island out there. And on that island is a fence. I think there's another place to access the black market broker in Freeport, but I can't recall exactly where he is. If anybody remembers, feel free to chime in. I went to the black market broker in Kinos, I believe yesterday morning, and was able to get a good number of masters for this character. So that was nice. There was one as low as 17 gold for I don't remember right off the top of my head which master that was. I want to say that it may have been. No, I don't remember. I'm not going to wager a guess as to which one that was. But regardless, it was definitely a good deal. I would even spend 17 gold on this cold throw right here, and it is not a spell that I see myself using uh, probably at any point. Unfortunately, I would love to use it. It's just that it requires a thrown weapon, and it makes no sense whatsoever for me to use a thrown weapon when first of all, I'm not ranging often, and every thrown weapon is utter garbage compared to the bows of equivalent levels so far. Um, I don't expect that to change, so I can't see myself using that probably at all. That being said, you never know. Maybe something's going to drop and it's going to be just this amazing, fabled throwing weapon, and I'm gonna be like, oh right, now I've got to get some daggers, you know, and make this work. That would be phenomenal. I don't see it happening. I guess if I'm ever in a situation where I have to use handcrafted anyway, because somehow I just can't possibly find any gear and I'm broke and desperate, and if I have to make my own and it's going to be handcrafted anyway, then maybe I would make a thrown a you know, I can't even actually think of what they're called, but the throwing weapon, um, and go that direction for whatever period of time that would last. It could be a fun thing to do, or maybe I would just do it for fun, just to see what it's like to use that spell sometime. Throw myself together. I do actually have one in my bags. It just occurs to me, satchel. Yeah, it's this one's a level 12, as you can see. Grover made it for me, and then I just never even equipped it because it was like, it's just garbage. So it's 4 stamina, 4 agility, 10 health, and 10 power. You know, and the equivalent bow would give me strength. And on this server, for a swashbuckler, strength is greater than agility. So it makes no sense to get something that doesn't have strength on it when I could get something that does have strength on it, because that's going to apply to everything that my character does. Is going to benefit from the stats on the bows more than it does from the stats on the satchel or whatever kind of thrown weapon is available. I keep saying thrown weapon. I feel like the daggers and such are actually the thrown weapon. This would be the weapon thrower. Of course, it feels more accurate for a swashbuckler to be using something more like a sling to throw, you know, or to throw daggers or something like that. It feels right from a role playing perspective to use something like that, but from the benefits that you get in the game, it just doesn't make sense. And part of that is because of the changes that they made to the way the game works and how they adapted the gear to reflect those changes back in the day, because the stats on the weapons used to be different than they were changed into, and they made more sense for the way that stats worked at the time. And now, you know, they've been changed to reflect the way stats later work, which just doesn't align. Almost finished this work order. For those of you who don't know, we have a guild house here on Origins, and we have one crafting table in it, which just so happens to be a workbench. So I can sit in the house using the depot that we have harvests in, and a little bit of fuel in my bags, and I can sit and do some crafting in here very quickly and easily. I'm doing it very casually, as a matter of fact. I'm not really rushing the situation. This is the low stress version of crafting. No rush orders or anything crazy going on right now. And I did remember to equip my crafting, my Artisan's Tunic this time. I also have something that I keep forgetting about, and I have it in my crafting set, even though it doesn't give bonuses to crafting per se, but it does give you the ability to get some power back. I have just consistently failed to use it when I'm low on power, and it occurs to me it would be good to use even when I'm out adventuring and I need a little bit of a power boost. But I just completely forget that it exists for the most part. I'll show you that to you in a moment. I'm trying to get this, yeah, a little bit more into a safety range because it was wanting to fall down to the third bar instead of the pristine bar. I'm not really interested in having less than pristine because it won't update my work order. So that would be a sad day. I think it's pretty safe now, so let me show you this. Okay. Nogginspark's Wondrous Tinkerdoodle or Tickerdoodle. The important part of this is not the stats, but the effect. I can activate it and it increases the power of the caster by 70. The reuse on it is 10 minutes, so it's not something you can sit there and do it over and over again, but as a comparison, I have some potions in my bags, and so I have an equivalent type of thing here, level 20, and it only increases my power by 50. Now, granted, you can use it more often because you can recast these potions every 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Obviously, that's a lot more often than 10 minutes, but the amount of power given is less than what this Nogginspark's Wondrous Tickerdoodle gives. So definitely beneficial if you remember to use it. Carry that around in your bags. It's a big if. It's one of those things. It's very easy to forget, even though I have it equipped on my person. What can I say? Also, of use to crafters and adventurers alike are totems like these. In addition to the spirit totem of the snow bear, very useful for when you're out adventuring. It's kind of like having a second food. So you have your food going, which is increasing your health regen. In this case, this one is a level 20 food. It's increasing my health regen by 27.5. Now, I also have a level 20 totem. It increases health regen by 42. So these totems are almost twice as efficient at health regen as the food of the equivalent level. Now, this food also gives agility and stamina, and always I recommend using food and drink. These will stack up though, and so you regen significantly faster if you're using both. That being said, the totems only last for 30 minutes per totem. You do have 5 totems, 5 uses for every totem, let's say it like that. So if you get 1 totem, then you have 5 uses of that, which is basically 2.5 hours worth of increased health regen from each one of those totems. The same thing is true for the power regen. Lasts for 30 minutes. Your power regen is increased by 36, and this is at a level 20 totem. Your drink, my drink, this one is a level 30 drink, and it increases my power regen by 45. So I've got 45 there, plus 36 here. Now, if this was a level 30 totem, I couldn't use it yet. Well, actually, maybe I could because my crafting level is that high, but my adventuring level is only level 29. So, unlike food and drink, which you can use at any level, you do have to be at least the level of the totem in order to use it. So, that is one caveat there. Anyway, I recommend totems, recommend food and drink all the time. regardless, keeping one of these little Nogginsparks, Wondrous Tickerdoodle around is also useful. Also, for those of you who don't know, it's a good idea to do your trade skill abilities from your knowledge book as opposed to doing it from the small selection presented below in your crafting window, below your progress window. Because the ones on the window over here, the crafting window, do not update as you level. They do on live, but they do not here. At least I believe they do on live. They certainly don't on here. So even if you try to drag one of the new abilities over and replace one of the old abilities on this bar, it won't work. So open the knowledge window, do it from there. It's better to just kind of start out doing it like that so that you get in the habit of doing that. You can drag the abilities from your knowledge book onto your hotbars, and that's another way to do it. I do have a few of those right here, number 4, 5, and 6. I also seem to have a disarming grandmaster over here, which is interesting. Oh, I see what happened. I have a macro. So since I have this macro, it updated here, but it also threw it onto my hotbar in that spot there. Maybe. No, it didn't. Ignore that. I just remembered what happened there. Anyway, back to turning in the completed order and getting the next quest. I don't really have any major plans at the moment. I figured I would do a little bit of crafting and just sort of have a relaxing morning. If anyone wanted to do anything in the guild, I would be willing to. But I don't have a huge amount of time before I'll have to take a bit of a break and get some things done. So I can't get too involved in anything. And I figured just coming on, doing a bit of crafting would be the way to go. Also, picking up the work order before you click the work order desk there is also a grand idea for actually getting the quest update that you're looking for. Like that. So, pro tips from Kipoerneke: get the quest before you try to update the quest. It's actually the simple things in life that matter. But what I was saying earlier, and I think I interrupted myself, was that when you're typing in the name of a recipe, you don't have to type out the full name of the recipe. And in fact, you can't on some of these because it's too long a name. So if you started trying to type, you would get Darrow's Doleful Dirge. Right there, that's the last character count that you can reach in the recipe book. So you can't actually type the whole thing. Type in that much, that's going to bring it up. But you don't actually have to do that. You can just type the first couple of letters, and then you can hit a space. So this is a 3-word recipe. So I can say DA, hit a space, and then we'll just do DO. Now we're going to get anything that the first word starts with DA and the second word starts with DO. And in this case, we have 2 results. So it would be Double Dagger and Darrow's Doleful Dirge. But all we would have to do to eliminate that possibility is to type the first 2 letters of the third word, because there's very little chance that there's going to be a third recipe that starts with da do di, right? So here we go. Let's see. Pharaoh's doleful dirge is the only thing that shows up under those conditions. So you can do this with any recipe, and it will make it much, much, much faster to find in your book than just going through and trying to scroll down and find the right thing. So very highly recommended, especially if you're doing rush orders, because those seconds can matter under certain conditions. So go ahead and just type in what you're looking for, make your life easy. And don't forget to craft from your knowledge book. In today's episode of Crafting with Kipoerneke, we'll learn how to use your knowledge book to craft and type in random letters in a recipe book. Reminds me of the old He-Man episodes from like the 80s, you know. This time you learned about how Orko befriended a... Yeah. I really think those are pretty funny. I have a bit of a skewed sense of humor, and I think that He-Man definitely contributed to that. I won't take that away from him. I saw somebody referencing He-Man the other day. It was very funny in chat on here. I didn't see the beginning of the conversation, but at some point they said something about by the power of Grayskull. Someone in chat responded, "Who is this Grayskull guy anyway?" You know, and I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. Of course, people explained to him that Grayskull is actually a castle, not a person. But I was thinking that's really interesting that there are people who have seen the reference that by the power of Grayskull, I have the power, and didn't understand the context enough to realize that this was a place being referenced and not a person or a god or whatever, you know. It's one of those context matters situations, you know. It's one of the things that I try to do with my kids is show them anything that like any movies that I think people may talk about or may quote in random conversations. Even if I didn't necessarily like the movie, if it's something that I hear other people say a lot or reference a lot, and I'm not talking about something new that just came out. I'm talking about something like a cult classic or an actual classic that, whether it's pop culture or kind of underground, I just, you know, I tell them, you need to watch this because you need to be able to contribute to that conversation. You know, it doesn't matter if you liked it, if you didn't like it, just to be able to understand the reference and to make that connection is an important part of social interaction. So that's one of the things that I feel like it's important to do. And of course, it's not just movies, but also songs or books. Any of the things that you often see or not necessarily see, but at least hear people talking about, whether it's online or in person, it doesn't really matter. it's a situation where there's a movie and a book about the same thing, I encourage them to both watch the movie and read the book, and that way they can formulate their own opinions, and there will inevitably be a conversation that they're involved in at some point in which there is a debate about which is better, the book or the movie, and that's something that they'll be able to jump in on if they have experience with both. So I homeschool my kids, and feel like that's a part of education that strangely is somewhat important, and that I think maybe is missed out on. Is It's just not really recognized by most schools as being important at all. I just think it's a bridge that you can have between people from all walks of life. You can all connect on certain things in the entertainment field, and it actually applies to video games as well to an extent. Wondrous, have you found that black market broker yet? I keep calling you Lucromos, and it's actually Lucromus. Lucromus. I think I said it right the first time, and then I've been saying it wrong every time thereafter. You may still be AFK. Last thing that I saw was a BRB, so I might be talking to no one currently, possibly. So let's see here. We've been doing a bit of crafting in the guild recently, and leveling up some characters, and so therefore doing some writs. And I wonder how far into level 25 we are. I doubt we're very far, because we only recently made level 25, and it takes a while, especially when you're doing low-level writs, to make a difference. Looks like we're 10% into the next guild level. That's not bad. It's not bad. I'll take it. I don't really have any goals for that. I can't remember much of what the benefits are past, I believe that level 30, that opens up guild cloaks, which is the ability to have a guild cloak design where the members of the guild can choose to display the guild cloak instead of whatever their cloak design is, and so everyone can have the same cloak design if they so choose. It's just a way to identify themselves visually from, just out and about. I think that I've always thought that it was a cool idea, and it seemed like at the time when it initially came out that everyone was very excited about it then. I don't know how people on this server are feeling about it. I haven't really heard any feedback on that. But I think it's a neat thing. And I don't know if my guildmates have thought on what kind of a design they would like. We're so far away from it right now that it isn't not really a major point for us. But I think that's probably the only thing that any of us would be excited about for level 30. I think there may be more horses available from the stables at level 30. I'm not sure about that. I'm more of a utilitarian, so for me, it doesn't really matter because on this server, a horse is a horse. It really doesn't. You know, none of them are the famous Mr. Ed, and so they're all the same run speed. They can't even have a conversation with you. I don't know. They don't do my dishes, you know? But if you're into visual appearances of your horse, then I think there are some different options at level 30 than at level 25. Not 100% sure on that. I also just saw that I'm 68%, 68.5% of it through the crafting level, which means, looking at how much I have left, I could probably finish this writ, pick up the next one very quickly, you know, finish this level off before I finish the next writ, but probably after I finish this writ. I don't know if there's anything fun in the way of mastercrafted gear that I can make at level 32. I should be able to definitely make more scout adept 3s at that point. And really, that's something I ought to have a look at real quick is which of my spells should I go ahead and upgrade to adept 3s. I may go and have a look at the broker and then have a look at the black market and see if I want to purchase any masters of any remaining spells that I need to update after I finish this writ, possibly. I can remember to. I feel like I might have already forgotten to do something that I planned to do. It's highly possible. It's a sad day when you have a memory like mine, but oh well, here we are. You gotta live with what you got, right? Now, when you see that your ability has dropped to the level mine's at, you might want to at that point focus on increasing your durability and slowing down the progress so that you don't lose down to the next bar. If you do, then what will happen is, first of all, your writ will not update because you have to have pristine for that. And second of all, you're going to have an apprentice 3 spell in your bags instead of an apprentice 4, which is not, you know, an apprentice 3 is better than an apprentice 2, obviously, but it's still not nearly so good as an apprentice 4. So the apprentice 4, the flaming shot, for instance, inflicts 70 to 117 damage on the target, and you'll notice it says if bow is equipped and ranged. This is just like another of those things that you constantly have to have certain types of weapons equipped in order to do certain things. I noticed a lot of that with the AA on the server. You have a lot of that was the wrong thing. AA is there. You have a lot of if this is equipped, you get this. So this is if dagger is equipped. For this, let's see here. This one is if your secondary slot is empty. So if you are, if you're using like a primary weapon and then nothing, uh, then then you can use Fencer's Wisdom. It seems to me like I don't know. I haven't gone down that route. I don't intend to. It seems like with a swashbuckler, that auto attack hit is very important, and having only one sword hit instead of two seems like a bad idea overall. It would have to be a major gain in other ways for that to be worthwhile. Um, I mean, it just seems like a big sacrifice um, to use for something that is, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If anybody has any experiences saying I'm wrong on this, go ahead and let me know because it doesn't feel like a good sacrifice secondary to lose your secondary weapon entirely. But anyway, that's the requirement of that one. Then we have swear, which is only important if a round shield is equipped in secondary. Now, mind you have to have a dagger equipped for this one to work. So your primary has to be a dagger. This requires that your secondary be a round shield. Well, that's better than not having anything in your secondary, in my opinion. But the thing is that this is for if you're. I guess if you want to be a swashbuckler tank, then then grabbing stamina will increase your threat, and you'll have a round shield. So you'd go down the stamina line, grab your round shield. This increases your mercenary's maximum health, which would be much more useful on no, sorry. You are the mercenary because you've gone down this line. I'm really with it, but that's interesting. So your max health goes up, your threat can be increased, um, and your stamina is increased. This increases your DPS, and again, that's if round shield is equipped in secondary. And then you would get your block chance, max health, mitigation increased, and when you're damaged, your threat's increased. So if you want to be a swashbuckler tank, this is absolutely the line to go down. Otherwise, maybe not. Here with this one, you have to have a rapier equipped in your primary. So in other words, you cannot have this spell and this spell in the same AA line effectively, because you can't have a dagger and a rapier both equipped in your primary slot. So it's a decision you have to make. Now, granted, you don't have to use these spells necessarily. They are not they're not maintained spells. So it's not, if you wanted the rest of the line of one of these, it would be fine to take it, but understand that those points are going to nothing on either the rapier or the dagger if you go down both lines. This one has the same sort of deal. This is if a sword is equipped in the primary. So you could do, say, a sword in the primary and a round shield in the secondary, and then you could go down, say, these two lines, something like that. But if you go down two of these lines that require a specific item to be equipped in the primary, then you're going to be losing one of your abilities in one of the lines. You can't, you can't have both. If you could, no, it's just not feasible. Anyway, that's my little educational aside. Let's go back to crafting. I have no idea where I started that conversation from or where I might have been going with it, but here we are. think that this, I would definitely have been done with this route already had I not decided to go off on a tangent about AA, but that's okay. Again, I'm just sort of moving at a casual pace and with no real goals in mind, just working through things and getting a little bit done here and there. I think that I'll probably get a sheet of paper so that I can record the prices of different master spells on the Notion broker that I need, and then go down to the black market broker, and then I can compare and decide whether I want to get the masters at all, first of all, and second of all, if I do want to get them, if I can, you know, which broker would be the better one to do, or if I want to go to somebody's house and pick it up that way. That can often save a good amount of money. If something is for sale on the broker for 1 plat and 20 gold, for instance, and they have it available to purchase in their house in a salesman crate of some kind, then you can hop over to their house and pick that item up for 1 plat and save yourself 20 gold. It is one of the biggest reasons to use salesman crates, in addition to their amount that they can hold. And of course, the same applies to any of the item-specific crates, like the armor and shield rack, or the jewelry box, or anything like that. I have a number of those specialty boxes in my house, and they typically are pretty full of items, in spite of being specialized. And in fact, they hold more of their specialized item than a salesman crate of the same tier holds in general. So if you get those, you can end up having a benefit as far as the space provided, even if they're not entirely full. So if you have an armor and shield rack and say if you had 60 slots available and you only used 40 of them, that could still be beneficial over getting a salesman crate of the same tier that may hold less. And even though it's full, you're not getting as much space out of it. All right, I'm going to grab some paper and I'll be right back. Okay, as threatened, I have returned. I think I am going to just run over to Kinos Harbor and look at the Canosian broker there first and foremost, because that is where I can access the black market broker as well. And so I'll make my life easy and just be in the place that I want to be, so that the comparison will be easy to make and I can just run from one to the other to figure out which one I want to purchase from. Right now, I'm really only interested in upgrading my combat arts, actually. I'll often call them spells because I use those words interchangeably, even though they're not. If I had actual spells on this character, then I would be wanting intelligence. I don't have any spells as a swashbuckler, so that is not relevant. Okay, let's see here. First of all, I'm just going to kind of go down the line and see what I need, and look it up as I find something that it's not fully maxed out. So edged swipe is the first thing I come across that that I don't have mastered, but I see that it is already been replaced. So my current one is an expert. It does 64 to 78 melee damage. Playful Swipe does 82 to 101. The DPS on Playful Swipe is 13.8, and the DPS on the Edged Swipe is 18.7. And that is why I kept the Edged Swipe Expert over upgrading it to the Playful Swipe Apprentice. Now, if I can find a Playful Swipe Apprentice, then, or expert rather, then that's going to, or not even expert, I want a master, honestly. So we're going to say Playful Swipe, and then we're just going to say master, and see what comes up. And right now, I see nothing coming. So, unfortunate. Let's just see in general, what do they have for Playful Swipe? The only thing for sale is a Playful Swipe Adept 3 on the Canosian Broker. I definitely am not going to pay 1 platinum and 44 gold for a Playful Swipe Adept because I can make that myself, right? Being a jeweler, I definitely don't need to pay that kind of money for it. But it may be on the black market, so I'm just going to write it down because I know that it's one that I need to, or that I would like to upgrade and then replace my old spell with. That would be ideal. So moving forward, we have what? That's a master, and this is a master. Okay, here's Deft Rush. That's an Adept. So let's see what we've got in the way of Deft Rush. Okay, only Adepts are available on the Canosian Broker for Deft Rush. Now keep in mind that I have already gone through and bought some of the masters that I needed just the other day. So the ones that I still don't have are going to be the ones that are less common, and or that were very expensive at the time and I didn't want to pay the money. Because most of my combat arts I did upgrade already. Snap of the Wrist is the next one that I need to look at. And the lowest cost master is 41 gold and 98 silver. This guy's not selling from his house, unfortunately, or I could save a little bit of money. It tells you down here at the bottom, if I went to his house, then I can pay 34 gold, 99 silver. So that's, it would be savings of seven gold, and it would be just a matter of running to one of the Canosian suburbs and picking it up from his house. So it's a low cost, or let's say it's a high cost benefit for low cost effort. I would be willing to do that. As it is, I'm still willing to do it because honestly, 41 gold is a pretty good price to be able to almost double my damage from that spell. So we're going to do that. All right, one spell down. I don't even need to compare to the black market broker for that because it's a good deal. Doesn't matter to me that much. All right, so got that upgraded. Then we have Flurry of Arms. Okay, so the cheapest Flurry of Arms that they have here is 1 plat and 20 gold. This is one of the ones I was referring to, one of the situations I was referring to in which I could pay 1 plat and 20 gold, or I could go over to Starcrest Commune, pop into this person's house, and buy it for 1 platinum. So I'm going to write down Flurry of Arms because that's expensive enough for me to go ahead and check on on the other broker and see if I can get it cheaper. But I'm going to go ahead and write down Flurry of Arms, and then I'm going to write down where it's at in the price so that I can keep that in mind to compare to. And I'm going to say 1 plat from Starcrest Commune. because again, there's no reason to pay 1 plat and 20 gold when I could just go and pick it up from the house. So okay, moving forward, we did Flurry of Arms. I don't really care about Cold Throw. It's the spell that I mentioned I'm really not interested in. I will go ahead and look it up. If it's cheap enough, I might get it. There isn't one on here. I'm not even going to write that down because I just don't care. So there's no need really to check that. So Stay Low is the next one that I'm interested in really, and there aren't any masters of that one on. There are some adepts, but I'm not really interested in upgrading to adepts again. I can just make an adept 3 for myself if I want to. So don't really see any reason at all to upgrade that. And in fact, I already have it as an adept, so I must have had it drop somewhere. Then we have Divert. Divert is decent. It's actually really good for getting aggro off of you. And it is also not available as a master on the Canosian Broker. That's going to be an AA spell, so it's a rank thing. Avoid Notice is the next one that's relevant here. And it too is not available on this broker. So when they're not available for a master on the broker, I'm going ahead and writing them down, and I will check on the black market broker momentarily to see if I can find it there. I really like to have my maintain spells as high up as I can, because those are operating all the time, whether I'm pressing them or not. That's where you get the biggest benefit from your spells, is something that you're not even going out of your way to do. It's just always on. So okay, that was all of the spells. So what I'm looking for is Playful Swipe, Deft Rush, Flurry of Arms, Stay Low, Divert, and Avoid Notice. So I'm going to come over here because this is where the black market broker is in Kinos. So this is in Kinos Harbor. You jump off that bridge, you swim under here and through this tunnel, and here you go. This is it. This is where your black market guy is. He's called a fence, and you go talk to him. And we want to buy. We don't want to sell. We want to buy. Playful Swipe, first of all, if possible. And so look at that. Playful Swipe for 33 gold. I'll take it. That's a great price for this. It's going to do phenomenal things for me. We'll buy that. And now, because of that, we're going to clear this hotkey, and then we're going to change our hotbar settings so that we can move this down to here, and then I'll cancel that because I don't really want these up here movable. I just wanted them movable to be able to move that one spell. So that's a huge upgrade over what I had. Now, 1 down, 5 to go. Mark that off the list. Deft Rush is the next one I'm going for. Okay, so Deft Rush is available, unlike the Canosian broker where it's not available at all. It's 1 plat and 5 gold from this broker, or it's 75 gold from the from Big Bend if you go to this person's house in Big Bend. It is an AoE. It's a true AoE, so it hits everything around me in a circle. It's I would say it's not a frontal, it's a full AoE, so it goes all the way around the body, which is pretty nice. I don't know that I'm interested in paying a platinum when I already have an adept of it. Yes, it would increase the damage, and it increases damage to a maximum of 8 targets that are surrounding me. Even if I had 8 targets, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm gonna write it down. But I'm not 100% sold on paying the price for it right now. It's not that it's a bad price. It's actually a good price. I'm just not sure that I want to spend it right now. The next one I'm looking for is Flurry of Arms. And again, on the broker, it's the same as in the recipe book. You don't actually have to type out the whole name. You can just type out the first letters of the words, and that's going to get you what you want. Just like that. And so, anyway, that point aside, Flurry of Arms is available, but I can run over to Starcrest Commune and get that for 1 platinum, whereas I would have to pay 1 platinum and 26 gold if I got it on this broker. So that's not the better deal. I'm going to go on and look for Stay Low. They do have Stay Low available, 1 plat and 40 gold. Again, I'm not super excited about paying that price for that spell because, again, I have an Adept. This is a master. Yes, it's better. It's significantly better. But is it 1 platinum and 40 gold better? I'm not sure of that. So I'm just going to write down that's how much I could get it for if I wanted to. Not sure that I'm interested in that. The next one on my list is Divert. Okay, so there's no Master of Divert, unfortunately. So, too bad, so sad. How about Avoid Notice? Okay, again, there is one. It's 1 plat and 40 gold. It's a nice one to have, certainly. It's an Intel canceled, so it's a maintained, or not maintained, it's a passive effect. It actually is maintained. It takes a concentration slot. Anyway, regardless, it's an always on spell. I do like those. Haven't had a lot of trouble with my threat, like my aggro control. So I'm not very tempted to pay 1 plat and 40 gold for this spell. It's good to know that it's available. I don't think I want to do it. So what I've found here is, so far I got 1 of the spells that I was looking for between the 2. Well, no, 2 spells between the 2 brokers, I think. And now I'm going to run over to Starcrest Commune and pick up that spell that is there. Because even though it costs a platinum, it's not a bad deal for what it is. And since I didn't get the other things, I don't want to, you know, I didn't spend the money, the extra money, so I will go and get this for 1 platinum, assuming it's still there when I get there. Odds are good, but you never know. Now, I don't remember where in Starcrest Commune the houses are, but probably can find it.
Duty above all else, citizen. Accept honor.
Alright, using the guard, I just typed in housing, and he has sent me over there, and I'm very glad that I did it that way because it might have taken me a minute to find this place. But as luck would have it, here we are. And we're going to click visit, and we're going to type in spells because that is the owner of the house. Ah, well, we have a problem. The enter button is not lit up. It's a shame. I wonder if Spells has perhaps not paid their upkeep. That can happen if the upkeep payment lapses, then people can't get into your house. Now, if I could just pay the 5 silver for his upkeep, then I would do so. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if he's online right now. Nope, he's not here, at least on that character. So, unfortunately, I went ahead and removed him because I'm not going to wait around to accost them whenever they log in. So, oh well, no big deal. We didn't need it that badly. In which case, I'm going to run back over to Willow Wood and turn in this work order and pick up the next one. And then I'm going to have to log out for a little bit. I've got a few things that I've got to get done. But I feel pretty okay about getting those upgrades. I haven't actually been out adventuring since I got my master's yesterday morning. I don't think. So, who knows what it's done for my ability to do some damage and survive fights.
Hello.
Maybe in a little while I'll have a chance to go out and find out. But for now, I'm going to have to call it good. And it was a pleasure chatting with you guys. Hopefully you have all found the black market broker. Can be making ample use of those tips. So if you haven't followed me yet, go ahead and click the button, and then you can turn on notifications and find out when I come back in a little while. See you later. Bye-bye.